Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Mr. Omo Oziegbe, and today we'll be learning a very interesting topic in mathematics, and it is titled Open Sentence. Open Sentence. I'd like us to be very attentive in this lesson because it promises to be interesting and fun all the way. So we're going to start right at it, and let's get busy. If you're ready, I am ready. So our objectives today for our lesson: you're expected to know what open sentence is. That means you should be able to tell me what it is after the class. One. Number two, you should also know how to find what we call the unknown. And also, you should tell me what a variable is. These are our objectives for the day. So, at the end of the lesson, I expect you to be able to wrap this up in your mind. So, first start. Let's get at it. What is open sentence? What is open sentence? Now, open sentence in mathematics, it means when we don't know if a statement is said to be true or false. Yep. So there are times when statements will be given to you. You can call it equation, you can call it mathematics statement. You have to verify if those statements are true or false. The point at which we can justify that, the point at which we can know that a statement is true is part of open sentence. Now, open sentence means you don't even know whether it is true or not. So at that point, it is no open sentence until you know it is true. So until we know the value of x, until we know what s is, we don't know if x plus 2 is equals to 3. Now, they told us here that x plus 2 is 3. But how are we sure that x plus 2 is 3? So we don't know if it is true or it is false. We can ascertain that now, at least for now, we cannot do that. Why? Because this sentence here, this statement here, all of this here, this is an open sentence. They told us that x plus 2 is 3 until we can identify it. So that's what we are talking about in open sentence. So we move. Now, a statement that contains at least one blank or an unknown, and that becomes true or false when the blank is filled or a quantity is substituted for the unknown. That is also what we call or refer to as open sentence. Yes. So we are still defining our terms. We are defining terms. So it is a statement in maths, all right, that contain at least one blank, at least, that word, at least one blank or one unknown. Okay. So it can be true, it can be false. Sometimes these are very important parameters you should hold. One unknown, true or false. So you are going to ascertain if it is true or whether it is false. Now, let us say we have an equation, say x plus 9 equals 16. This is an example of an open sentence or open equation as it is. Since we don't know whether this equation is true or false, we cannot tell if it is true until we determine the value of x, until we know what this guy here is. Now, this is a rule for you to know. Until you know the rule and say, oh, x plus 9 is actually 16. But how do you come across that? Because you've proven it, and that has to come with what? Solving. So in a subsequent slide, we'll see how we can go around it and solve. All right, so to generalize, an equation having a variable will be considered an open equation if it cannot be verified without solving the actual. Yep. So we'll consider it and say it is what? It is an open equation. Still defining. Let's get to it, people. Let's get at it. Now, example. X plus 2 equals 3. I love this. Now, is it true or false? Remember I told you in open sentence, you are just trying to like, oh, let's check. Okay. So they say, now I'm going to solve x plus 2 equals 3. Now, it is an open sentence. They are asking you, is it true that x plus 2 is 3? If it is true, you tell us what x is. That means there is a number that this x is embedded in. Let me use that word. X has catch and hidden that number. So, but if it is true, you let us know. If it's not true, we let us know. So how do we know that x plus 2 is 3? Somebody is already thinking, we are in thinking cap. You know, what am I going to add to 2 that will give me 3? That is 1. Is that not so beautiful? So x is 1. Is that not so? But let's see how we can go around it. Now this says, if x is 1, then x plus 2 is equal to 3. That means this is true. If x is 2, then x plus 2 is equal to 3. We are going to do both. Now, if x is equal to 1. Let's see. That means whenever I see x, I'll put 1. Now, and I have x plus 2 equals 3. And I already said x is 1. That means 1 plus 2. What will 1 plus 2 give me, boys and girls? 3. Brilliant. You are correct. Now, that means x plus 2 is equal to 3 if x is 1. But if x is 2, that means if my x is 2 and you know we have x plus 2 equals 3, that means my x is 2 now. I'm going to substitute 2. 2 plus 2. Does it equal 3? No, it does not equal 3. So that means this is false. X is not 2, x is 1. Is that clear? Very clear. Now, what are variables? These are terms that we expect you to use. Variables, the value we don't know is called a variable. We can also call it the unknown. Yes. The values that we don't know, we call them variables. And sometimes we can call them what? The unknown. Don't forget that. Take it down. On this example of an open sentence, x here, this x, because we don't know x, x has turned to what? A variable. Or we can also call it what? An unknown. In this example, w and q are both variable because we don't know what w and q are. So if they say, what is the variable x? They're asking me, what is the unknown x? Then you solve and you should be able to come up with an answer. Don't forget, interchangeably, we can actually interchange unknown for variable, but they mean the same thing, okay? Variable means what we don't know, okay? Variables are values that we cannot tell. We don't know what they are. So in an equation or in an open sentence, when they give you those letters, let me simplify it for you. When you see those characters or letters, those are what we refer to as what? Refer to them as variables, or no, it could be x, could be y, could be z. A lot of people have said x as suffer in maths, but it could be m, could be j, whatever letter we have. All right. And also solving. What is solving? Solving means finding a value for the variable that makes the sentence true, like you are getting set, or you want to solve, or you want to check if something is correct or not. That means when you are getting back at your work and you are putting pen to paper, you are solving. You are finding the value for the variable. That is what we mean by solving. Now let's say example. Example, we have to solve x plus 3 equals 8. I've told you. Now, how do we solve? It is very simple. Now, in open sentence, I would like you to know that this is my left-hand side and this is my right-hand side. Whatever I do to the left, I do to the right. Now, this x here, because I'm looking for x, I don't know what s is. So x, we have to stand alone. X equal to, now I have plus 3 here. Remember in your normal maths, your maths rule, when a number is crossing to the other side, remember this 3 is with the operator plus. So if it's crossing to the other side, plus turns to what? Minus. Thank you. 8 now minus 3. Beautiful. So my x now equals what? 8 minus 3, that gives me 5. So if x is 5, is it equal to 8? Nice job. Good. So, but let's check. So, 5 plus 3 equals 8. That means x is 5. Or you can do what is done here. You know, in math, I always tell you there's more than one way to smoke a rat. Now, we have this. You just subtract this number because you want x to be alone, like what we did here. Minus 3 here, minus 3 here, and you also come here and have 5. That's what they did. So when we check here, we also said that it is true, isn't it? Yeah, we checked that time. In the previous time, we got it correctly and we saw that it was true. Evaluation, people. What is an open sentence? Can you tell me? All right. Okay. Now, can you define a variable for me? What's a variable? Nice try. Can you tell me what solving is? What do we mean by solving? Good job. Good job. Wonderful job. Now you've done wonderfully well. I'll be expecting you to take your quizzes and your class activities in a follow-up class in a form. All right, in a Google slide. I really want to appreciate you for all your time. I know you've learned a lot today, just as I have, and I have had a wonderful time. Thank you very much for listening. And from me, I'm saying bye-bye. See you next time.